Our next guest is a talented actor you know from his work on shows such as Supernatural and Smallville. He joins the Emmy-nominated series The Boys, which is now streaming exclusively on Amazon Prime Video. Let's take a look.
And the most idiotic of them all.
What do you say, gunpowder? Give him the 4th of July.
Let's light him up, soldier boy.
Please put that down.
Oh, well. You realize them case officers is pretty as you. We're just having some fun.
Our munitions dump is in that direction. You're about to blow up half the camp. Put it down. Now.
I do like the assertive type. You know, with a figure like yours, you are wasted down here.
Please welcome to the show, Jensen Ackles, everyone. How you doing?
Hey, good. Great.
This is, I'm a big fan of this show. This show is gory. This show is graphic. This show is also very funny.
It is.
At times. Were you familiar with it before they reached out?
I was. Eric Kripke, who was the showrunner, created a little show a few years ago called Supernatural.
Yeah.
And so I was certainly friends with the boss. And when he came out with the show, I was like, I'm gonna have to watch another Kripke show because he's done. You know, he went off and he did Timeless. He went off into Revolution. The guy, he can't stop working. So, but this one really is him with the gloves off, and it shows because it is everything that he couldn't do on network television.
It is. You have $1 million voice for superheroes, and I feel like the clip was a perfect illustration of that. But you have done some superhero voice work before, not acting, but you did some DC comic stuff. You did Red Hood.
Yeah. In fact, I just spent about 3.5 hours in the studio yesterday doing Batman.
Oh wow, you did Batman too. Look at that. That's a big deal.
That was a big deal.
Getting Batman.
I don't want to drop that ball.
Yeah. Now that, of course, is nice because you just get to do the voice here. You have to get the gear on. It seems like as far as the costumes on this show go, you did okay because some of them are maybe a little bit less fun to put on.
Yeah, it was. I got the nice one, I would say. I could still move around. There was no leotard, no rubber, no suit that you had to peel off at the end of the day.
Right.
That being said, while we were fitting it, because these things are works of art and they take quite a bit of time to really put together, the super suit costume designer, LJ, she was starting to put the stuff together. I was like, are you going to give me some muscles? Like I see these suits and they're clearly outlined with, added muscles.
No, I would definitely show up assuming muscles would be there already.
Yeah, and then, but instead she just lightly taps me on the shoulder and she goes, you're gonna bring me some muscles in April.
Wait, how much time? When was that? When was that conversation?
This is like October.
Oh my God, that's not enough time.
Well, it was.
Yeah, oh well.
Because I was like, challenge accepted.
Yeah,
and
I'm sorry that I saw the clip and I was like, that wasn't enough time.
Yeah, thanks, man. So, apparently it wasn't.
You mentioned that this is a show.
Noodle-armed soldier boy there.
This is, obviously, I would say there's not an episode in the show that you don't see 5 or 10 examples of something that couldn't be on network television. Obviously you mentioned you're friends with the showrunner. Was there anything he asked you to do that you thought, oh man, this is not friendship?
So, yeah, if anybody's ever thinking of coming on to a Kripke show and portraying one of his characters, never tell him that something bothers you.
Oh, interesting.
He will write to it full force.
Oh, like fear thing.
I don't like fluid all over me. He's like, oh, okay. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so if you do it, be like, I hate cake.
Right.
Yeah.
Needless to say, he found my line very quickly and then continued to write to it.
So this is a no spoiler situation, but for anybody who finishes the season, we should be able to pinpoint the moment where he has found the weakness.
Yeah, I mean, without any spoilers, I mean, it's just odd sexual positions.
All right, great. Now that is troubling because that means, based on everything you've said so far, that you went to him and said, I got 2 sexual positions I hate. Whatever you do, Kripke, just know this one and this one are off limits.
Well, and this is And this is how really advanced this whole process is I would get emails with just stick figures in positions. I'd be like, oh, A and B are out. I'm sorry. I can't. I have children.
That's right. You do, and we were talking backstage. We each have 3 kids. You've got 2 5s and a 9.
I got 2 5s and a 9.
So this is obviously just off limit. They cannot watch this show.
Oh, yeah, no.
Do they? Is there anything? I mean, they must be aware.
My parents don't watch this.
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
Mom,
Yeah.
better not.
Is there anything that you could show them where they think, oh, that's cool that Dad's doing that?
So a few years back, Supernatural did a crossover with Scooby-Doo.
All right, perfect.
And it's they were animating me as my character on Supernatural, but at the end of the day, they were just animating me. So
Yeah.
Dad is animated with Scooby-Doo on a cartoon that my kids just adore.
And you got to voice it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And they weren't thrown off by that? Because I have some friends who've done voiceover work and they say their kids, they don't like that moment.
Well, because I've actor friends that do voices of characters in movies that they have watched that they're
Yeah.
very familiar with, and I'll be like, hey, talk to my buddy, and then they're like, why is that person talking to me? So, or they'll come over to the house and be like, this is so and so. They're like, no, that doesn't look anything like.
Right. I've done that where.
That doesn't look anything like a little dog.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's the thing. I've
right.
said the same thing. I'm like, I've actually, like the guy who does that bear voice, he's been on my show, and I show him a clip, and they're like, oh, he's a human. Yeah, I don't like that.
Unimpressed. Unimpressed at this point.
I do want to mention, you alluded to Supernatural. 15 years, over 300 episodes. This is like an unheard of accomplishment for you, yourself, and everybody who did that show. And obviously an incredible fan base. I don't think any show can be on 50 years without one. That must have been a tremendous ride.
It was. Thank you. Yeah.
Give it up.
Yeah, I think we topped out at 327 episodes
That's amazing.
of primetime television, which was a long, long run, and it was fantastic. There was a reason why I think we all stuck around though, because we just truly enjoyed it. It was a family. You know, I spent birthdays and we spent holidays, and we went through so much together as a crew and a cast that by the end of it, it was a really sad goodbye, but something that we all felt like we really earned.
That's really cool. You shorter run. But also a big fan base. You did 3 years on Days of Our Lives. Do you still get
Nobody
recognized?
remembers that.
Do you get recognized though?
Okay, funny story. No.
Okay.
Until about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
When I was on a flight back from Europe, we were over there doing some press for the boys, and a lovely flight attendant, kind of like, you know, they look at you and they're like,
Yeah.
Like, So I'm thinking maybe Supernatural, maybe the boys, I don't know. And so I'm coming out of the bathroom, and they're there in the galley, and he says, Days of Our Lives. And I immediately was like, you're not even old enough to remember me. And immediately he went right into it. He was like, what's Marlena like? And so I sat there speaking, you know, we're like taking up space in the galley there, you know, sipping coffee.
Well, I mean, I would imagine for 15 years you've had to answer so many questions about Supernatural. It must have been a nice break to go back to the days.
Yeah, I had to go through the files in the brain there and come up with some stories. But yeah, David, if you're out there, that was a pleasure. It was enjoyable.
And I'm sure your next flight you'll be answering questions about the boys. Hey, thanks so much for being here. It's been a real pleasure.
Pleasure, man.
Talking to you and having you on.
Yeah.
Jensen Ackles, the first 3 episodes of the 3rd season of The Boys are streaming now, with new episodes available Fridays on Amazon Prime Video. We'll be right back with music from Tove Lo.